Yeah, so definitely have to look at my man Boogie Frantic is one of my favorite poppers I see right now. Can't leave out my man Gizmo, Tempo, D Soul. Yeah, my man D Soul is dope. I love him. Uh, let's see. Who else is it that I like? Who's it really?
Anybody overseas?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I love Nelson. Nelson is dope. Salah, can't forget about Salah. He's out of his mind. MT Pop I love what I see him doing, you know, and there's just so many, man.
Yeah.
So many. You know, a lot of really great poppers out there, man. You know, to speak of, you know, and even out here, I had already mentioned a few other guys, and there was another guy that I was thinking about. What is my man's name? I mentioned D Soul. I mentioned Tempo, Gizmo.
I can ask you a question if you can't remember that.
Okay.
The other popper's name. When it comes to animation, Mr. Animation, he's looked at as like one of the goats in popping, you know. And one thing that I do is that I always remember like our fallen soldiers,
Right.
you know. And Mr. Animation, you know, I remember the first time I seen him was at Radiotron, and he had a blue pin antenna
Okay.
with some gray khakis and a blue rag in his pocket.
Oh man.
And he was just animation,
Right.
you know. But when I seen him hit, I was very impressed, you know, because I could see it, because he was built and he had his shirt off.
Oh yeah, he was.
And this brother, like when he would hit,
he was very
like
powerful.
he would hit hard. And I want to just share this with the popping community. If you have any good memories or anything regarding like Mr. Animation, like what was his impression to you when you see animation?
Oh my goodness, man! Just an excellent performer of the crowd. Like he was excellent at being able to play the crowd. Just overall amazing stage presence. I mean, he just demanded your attention, and he just knew how to work the crowd. I mean, you talk about somebody that had that classic, you know, that backslide hit that he would do, man, was just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then just that double hit that he did, just the way he hit, period, was just amazing. But yeah, man, he was definitely somebody that would leave an impression on you, you know, after you seen him pop. Especially if you was at Venice Beach and you had a chance to see him throw down. But I was definitely blessed to, you know.
He knew how to break though too.
Yeah, he did, huh?
I actually spoke to Carmelo Alvarez, which was the founder of Radiotron.
Oh.
And he was telling me about how animation, and he used to call him Spanky.
Oh, Spanky.
You know, because he's from South Central,
right.
You know, and he was affiliated. So
okay.
that was his name, Spanky.
Oh.
But his mom would drop him off at Radiotron so he can channel that energy from gangbang into like popping. So he would drop him off at the original Radiotron.
Okay.
So that was his home away from home. He actually lived there.
Wow.
You know.
Wow. He lived there.
He lived there because he was because he knew like if he would have stayed in the streets, he would probably this would have been another victim. This is early. This is like gangbanging when it was like at its height.
Oh, okay.
You know, 83, 84. Like so his mom was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna take him to this club called Radiotron, and it was by MacArthur Park. You know, and that's where they shot the movie Breaking.
Right.
I want to ask you, do you ever remember that club, like being in Pomona? Because it was a big deal. It was basically, that's where Ice-T started his career.
Right, I remember
at Radiotron. And I want to ask you, do you remember that club?
I remember that whole scene back in the day. Now, I never really had a chance to get over there, saying as if it was like in between like 1981 and 83.
Yeah.
I was probably in Arizona at the time.
Oh,
but I
okay.
remember hearing about it, hearing the stories from like Stokes and Boardman and Stretch, you know, some of the homies, you know, like that. But yeah, definitely remember that part of history, especially like Ice-T, young Ice-T, like, you know, like doing his breakdancing thing, you know. I remember one of my homies, Maurice, you know, Re-Rock, you know, the homie Re-Rock from the Pomona City Heartbreakers. He was telling me about how, you know, they used to let Ice-T use part of their gear, so, you know, so he could go on stage and perform sometimes, you know. But yeah, it's definitely amazing knowing that.
Yeah.
Ice-T history, you know, is straight West Coast through and through, man.
I could drop you some Ice-T history that you probably don't know. Do you know how Ice-T even got the name Ice-T?
No, I don't.
Do you know his original name?
No, I don't.
His original name is Tracy.
Oh.
So when Tracy was in high school, he used to want to, like, you know, they would say rap to girls, you know, like he would like, hey baby, how you doing? You know, you looking fly. So he was reading Iceberg Slim literature.
Oh, get out of
So
here.
when he would go to a girl, you know, he would kick Iceberg Slim literature.
Great.
So the brothers around the way, when they would see Ice-T, they'd be like, yo man, yo Tracy, why don't you kick some of that Iceberg Slim? So he shortened it from Ice-T.
Wow.
Iceberg Slim, T for Tracy, Ice-T.
Wow, that is sweet. I didn't know that.
That's some West Coast history for you right there.
Yeah, that is some great.
I told you I'm the one, brother. Like I mastered this to like its essence.
Okay.
Because I've been in it like the longest, and I never walked away from it. I did stop like once. I'll say like around like after like '86 when everything started fading. Like we all stopped, at least from our point of view.
Right.
And we went to the next phase, which is kids with skateboarding.
Oh.
So we got that was the next teenage thing though, with skateboarding. So like popping and breaking was kind of like everybody was like how you said, like you still doing that?
Right. They're looking at you like, huh?
Yeah, like why? Yeah, like what? Kids would get on their knees, start like spinning on their knees. People would act like they're doing a robot. You know, it was kind of like it was like a mockery.
Right.
You know, so that's pretty much why I got tired of being mocked.
I see.
And me and my friends, so we eventually, you know, went back. We went into like the skateboarding, and I would see popping and like, you know, like little sprinkles, you know. But I noticed in the early '90s, I would say like around '92, '93, when I started seeing the resurgence of it, and it all started with Mr. Wiggles.
Oh yeah, Wiggles. What's up, Wig?
Mr. Wiggles.
Yeah,
Mr. Wiggles
right.
and Fable.
He did. Oh my goodness, yes.
The Rocksteady crew came back in full force.
Yeah.
And they always let Wiggles come out. Wiggles is like the main dude.
You're right.
They would give him his section. The B-boys would fall back. Yeah. And you'd say, give it up for Mr. Wiggles.
Yeah, I remember that. He was right there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the front man.
Yeah, he was even in the Electric Boogaloo's for a minute.
Yep.
He performed with them.
He's still down with the EBs.
Yeah.
So he's Rocksteady and EBs.
Yeah, but Kid Boogie, before I forget it, it's Kid Boogie and Jay Smooth is the other two guys.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Splice that in wherever you want. But
yeah.
But Kid Boogie, who was definitely down with the EBs through and through.
Okay.
And Jay Smooth is the homie, man. But yeah, those guys were so dope. You know, yeah, it's a lot of good guys, a lot of great dancers out there, you know. But yeah, I could keep going.
Right. Like I said, I appreciate you, Tyrone, and I just want to ask you one final, you know, question for the day.
Okay.
After seeing and being around this dance like majority of all your life, seeing what you see today, what do you like about what you see today compared to like what you seen like 40 years ago, like along with technology though, like what is the evolution and the things that you like about popping today?
The inception of social media.
Yeah.
Simply because no longer is popping just limited to like our garages, which is how it was when I first started. Absolutely no way was a popper from one crew going to put whatever routines, whatever moves that they were doing, they were not going to put them on social media. So then that way, whoever their rival was, you kind of see what they were going to do and just kill the element of surprise. But yet, at the same time, it opens the platform to everybody to where the playing field is a lot more even. And so that's why you have all these different countries producing such high quality dancers. You know, so I think that that's one thing that that I could honestly look at and say is it's an advantage for someone who might not be a dancer and doesn't have a chance to maybe grow up in some of the areas where it was created, but yet they could go online, type in a name, type in a style, and look and figure out themselves and learn the art form by watching, and then in some instances finding out where the next event is going to be so they could go and watch it in person. So I think that the inception of social media and the internet is a huge advantage, you know, no doubt about it.
Do you think that when you came up, if you would have had internet and social media back then, you think that the growth of your dance would have changed because you would have got to see more?
I think by it being so competitive back then, I get the feeling that it wouldn't have, because you would have had too many people that would have been doing too much of the same thing. Whereas you know, now when you see it, based on the fact that you have such a wide variety of different dancers and different styles, I mean, it makes it a lot easier to like learn the dance form, but then at the same time, it kind of makes it a little harder to be creative, because if someone has already created the backslide and you don't have to really, you know, learn it without looking for it online, of course, you know, it's probably going to be a lot harder.
Right.
And that's the same concept through and through, you know. So it has its advantages and then it has its disadvantages, but overall, I think it levels the playing field. So then that way, us OGs, or a lot of us OGs, we just can't sit back and say, oh, well, you know, when we were, you know, their age, we did this and we did that. It's like, well, you know what? They didn't caught up. It's almost like, you know, the USA basketball. I mean, remember when the USA was like, you know, the number one country in the world when it came to having the best basketball players when you compared it to the other countries, whereas now that's not the case. Even though we might have won in the Olympics last year in 2024, you could definitely see how the rest of the world has caught up. There's absolutely no doubt about it, and it's because of technology. It's the same way with popping. So it's almost like we've given you guys all this knowledge, and so after giving you all that knowledge, it should be easier for you to compete now. It should be easier for you to have your mind made up on what you feel is the best and what you feel might be the worst.
I feel like, to add what you were saying, I feel the pros and cons that I personally would share is that I remember when, if you knew there was somebody popping, it was always in the garage with the garage closed.
Thank you. Always, you remember that?
And you would hear the beat.
You can't even, you can't imagine, you can't, There's no way that person
Yeah.
that's in that garage is gonna say, you know what, let me just turn this on to the entire world right now, so
You
they
can
can
hear
see
the
me
beat.
doing
I can
the
hear
same.
I can hear
Yeah.
the beat walking down the street, and I would just hear like a lot of, yeah, that's how we do it. Get it.
Yeah.
But the garage was closed.
Always closed, right? It was no
Yeah.
open
No,
garage.
because everybody was
practice
saving
space.
that for the next
Yeah,
dance.
Thank you.
The element of
It's
surprise.
This element of surprise. So that surprise element is really is not a surprise.
It's not a surprise though, because you see the same people doing the same moves
thing over
every
and
week.
over and
Every
over
week.
and
I see the-
over and
yeah.
over and over.
It's not even a
So
shock
it's like,
anymore.
Yeah. So
No more shock value.
Yeah. So you have the ability to be creative. You have the ability to to come with more original material, because you can compare it to what you've seen. But instead, some guys, they just get good at one thing, and that gets them the hits, it gets them the
Yeah.
views, it gets them the comments, it gets them, the variety, of feedback, from social media. So why should they go and make up extra stuff? It's like they found their niche, and they just ride it till the wheels fall off.
I agree with you on that. Like, and that's what it's about. Like,
Yeah.
I have to be honest with myself. I've been on technology since I got my first computer in 2000.
Whoa.
So I've been on the internet solid since 2000.
Wow.
And everything was 56K dial up.
Oh, remember that?
And I had net zero,
Oh
which was
my
a free.
goodness.
It was super slow, so nobody can call me. If you picked up the phone, like the internet would crash.
Signal, yeah.
So the advantage is that I think the advantage of it, the cons, the pros, is that you get to build like hundreds and hundreds of relationships outside
Yes.
of your. There's hundreds and hundreds of people that know me just because of like my social media presence. Hundreds, like
I believe
literally every country in the world, like they know who I am because of my presence, my consistency. I've been doing what I'm doing for 35 years, solid. I've not taken a break.
Wow.
Like my earliest footage goes back to like 92.
Wow.
From 92,
Wow.
like I've been documenting. So when people see me, they're like, oh yeah, like that's this.
Right.
Like this the dude right here, like, like some people. I remember one time I was on my way to practice though, right? And I'm getting out the car, and I asked the dude, I said, is this the dance studio? He's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, my name is B-Boy, like now later or something.
Right.
And I said, Mike, yeah. He paused, he said, what? He's all, bro, forgive me, I'm starstruck right now. And like I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like you starstruck? But because of my presence, well, like everything that and then your reputation of who you are.
Right.
Like the internet is good, but word of mouth is even better.
No, you're right.
So when people know that you're doing the right thing and they know it's coming from the heart, your reputation supersedes like who you are, because everybody be like, that's a good dude.
Right. No,
That's the dude right there. And they don't even know you, but they just heard, like, you know what? No Bones, that Tyrone was saying, that's my that dude's legit, man. He came way out here. That brother's been doing this. This brother been doing that. And I think that's how I built my name, by word of mouth. This is before the internet. Because back in the 80s and 90s, there was no internet. Internet didn't come out till like 90, when everybody started getting on, I say 99, 2000. When they start putting up websites where you can chit chat.
Yeah. Like chat bots and
AOL's beyond this, like AOL, you got mail.
Right.
And MSN.
Yeah.
Like that was the way that you was like, you can start chatting with people on the internet.
Right.
You open, you've got mail. And then it was a chat room.
I remember. What's crazy is you said you've been online since 2025, but then
2000.
Oh, since 2000, and we're in 2025 now. So I should have said for 25 years.
Yes.
So since it's been 2000, we're in 2025 now. But what's funny is you say that, but I'm looking at how long I've been in the computer field, bro, And it's crazy that I've, been in IT and the computer field for so long, and it was before like normal people was able to actually afford,
Okay.
just everyday normal American citizens were able to afford a personal computer. Like me, I was like working in the computer field for years before I even bought my own personal computer. And
How long ago would you say?
What's that?
How long would you say? You said before you got your first computer.
Oh.
How long have you been in the computer?
Oh man, since
You can give me a date.
Since about 89, 88, 89, 90.
Is that when the computer had like the green screen where everything
Oh
was
yeah,
in green?
yeah, the green, yep, the green monitor, like
Yeah.
the cathode ray tube, yep, the floppy disk.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Yo, that's amazing though, Tyrone. Okay, last and final question. I just want to say, what advice would you give to somebody watching this, and maybe first time they're seeing this, and they want to pursue and maybe start like a dance career, but knowing what you said earlier, like to make a choice that you're going to decide, do you want to be professional in dance, or would you start a career first? Like, what advice would you give somebody that's younger today watching this? Like, what advice would you tell them personally, like, to make a choice, if you can give some advice to them?
First of all, you have to really make sure that you put in what you're going to get out. Meaning, whatever you decide, you have to make sure that you put in the hard work. And then once you have put in that hard work and you're trying to decide if you want to use this art form as a way to, maybe use it as a career, or if you just want to use it to just hang around the homies on the weekends and throw down. I mean, basically, it all depends on who you know, what circles you're around. But everyone's path is different. But my best advice to you is to really just do what's in your heart, and at the same time, you have to make sure that you have a logical approach that's going to make sure that you can pay your bills at the same time as do something that you love, if that's what you want to do. But the biggest thing is to do your homework. Use technology to your advantage. Since it's here, you may as well use it to your advantage. And really, most importantly, in my opinion, don't just take my word for it. Do not just take Mikey Ice's word for it. Do your research, do your homework, so then that way you'll know which path is the right one for you. So again, it's all about putting in that hard work, putting in that effort, and then once you put in that effort and hard work, you got to think about, hey, is this something that I just want to do temporarily, or is this something that I want to do as a source of making it a career? That'll just depend on how talented you are.
Right.
And how talented you are is basically going to depend on how honest with yourself you are. You have to be able to let people critique you. You have to be able to handle it if somebody isn't amazed with something that you've probably been working on, a movie you've probably been doing over and over again in the mirror, and you've convinced yourself that it's the dopest thing ever, and then you see like your little sister, and you show her the movie, it's just all right. You gotta, be able to be honest with yourself, and make sure that you're coachable. Make sure that you are able to get the correct coaching from, whatever source it is that you have available to you. So those are the, words of encouragement, that I would give any up and coming popper. But with all that being said, if it ain't fun, it's probably not for you. So you have to make sure that you keep it fun as well.
Right.
Because I know it's the fun and the joy that really, brought me to this dance, and that's why I've been doing it for all these years. I must say that I'm 61 now, and I started when I was 15.
Oh, so how many years is that you've been dancing?
That's like 45, 46 years, bro.
Oh, that's super
So
amazing.
that's over half my life.
Right. If I could share something, guys, from my personal point of view, if I want to give you some advice, though, like my best advice, I would say is that have a relationship with Jesus, though.
Thank you. That part.
Start with that. You know what I'm
it.
saying? I'm being honest with you guys.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Mikey I's love breaking till I die. Keyword. Start a relationship like with God, and I can guarantee you, like, He will open up doors that you would never see open up before. And I just want to end that with that being said. Thank you for watching. I hope that this inspires everybody that watch. I got many more to come. This is the beginning. There's actually a dance coming up next Saturday, March 1st, thrown by Zulu Gremlin, Asia One, and Midnight is going down.
Yeah.
Hope to see you guys there from 8 to midnight. Peace.
Peace.